Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? My name is Michael. Today we're going to have an abbreviated webinar session, if that's okay with everybody. It is my son's 18th birthday party today. I can't believe I have an 18-year-old son. But there it is. Good afternoon. Hey, Paul, anybody else here today? Just confirm they can see my screen and hear my voice. Is it all good on that front? Sweet. Well, just in case you're lost, we are backtothefuturetrading.com, and I am one of the founders here. My name is Michael, and I've been with the company from the very first day, back in 2009, I believe it was. So about 15 years, and we use time to find signals. Hey, let me just say something real quick. And we believe that time is the most important factor of all when determining market movements. And so we have this really unusual approach to determining whether or not we can predict what markets are going to do in the future. We give out times in advance before the markets open on Wednesday or Wednesday and Thursday. And then we come back 2 days later to actually see if it worked. Now, spoiler alert, it worked. So I'm going to go through that experiment with you and actually show you what happens when you presume the market is essentially rigged or is about to follow a predetermined course in advance. So I'll show you the times that were published 2 days ago for the biggest market in futures anyway, the E-mini S&P. Then we'll look and see what happened at those times on Wednesday and on Thursday and pose the question, did it work or did it not work? The program that we're talking about on our website is called TachEon Warp in this instance. It's a basic entry-level program that uses data mining to predict when the market you trade, cryptocurrencies, equities, futures, commodities, is likely to go up or down in the future. And so we're talking about the Warp program here today. For those of you that are super excited about timing signals and want to know everything I know, that's our top tier program, Force. We're down here looking at Warp today. All right, sweet. So one of the things that we want to look at is what happened at these times. How do they work? So for example, on the E-mini S&P 5-minute chart yesterday, the software is able to generate times and directions in the future. And so we're left with this histogram. And in essence, the program is warning us in the future, these times are likely to drive prices lower, and these times are likely to drive prices higher. And the only reason these times even exist is because they've made moves like this recently over and over again. Most people don't realize that the times that markets are moving down to the minute and second in some cases is critical to the people pushing the buttons behind the curtain. So when we come and study what these times actually did, some interesting things begin to emerge from the ether. Let's take a look at yesterday. And I want you to see what I perceive to be some pretty incredible bananas. So, Darian, good to see you here. This is kind of blow your noggin out a little bit. And per our hours-long conversation yesterday, this is the front half of what I want to teach you, the data mining stuff. I want you to see that this screenshot was added 2 days ago. A bunch of people have been watching it and paying attention to it. 2 days ago, the program warned us for Wednesday about these moves. So Darian, take a look. You see where it says 430 here and how 430 is on the screen here and here? These are the signals that were predicted. And when we caught up to them, on the close of those candles, we actually just put a little placeholder there to remind us that was a prediction. And then Mary, hello Mary, over at 6 o'clock, 6:05 to be precise, the software tells us, hey, we're here. We made it to 6:05. So if you're watching from home on a video or you're curious about whether or not there was any way to manipulate this, we've sort of gone out of our way to guru proof the presentation. John, there's literally nothing I can do once this page is posted, aside from experience that experiment the same way that participating potential customers would. We're waiting for these times to see if the banks will follow through, if the investment institutions will follow through and do what's expected. Now, this is bananas. Can we just admit, can we say out loud, this is insane? You have to be crazy to believe this. And yet, when we look at the entirety of what happened yesterday at those times, you'd kind of sort of have to be crazy to not follow them. So just from the European session to the close of the American session, I want you to see the low-hanging fruit. Rich, 430 is a sell. 605 was predicted to be a buy. 735 was predicted to be a sell. And right up until the econ at 835, we end up where we started, that unemployment report, right? I'm going to come back to 835 in a second. 10 o'clock was expected to be a sell. 1245 was expected to be a buy. 205 was expected to be a short. 310 was expected to be a long. And Darian, 340 was expected to be a short. I warned some of you guys that this was a pattern 8. We'll talk about that in a second. And then 405 was supposed to be a long. That did not work. Darian, what do you think of that? Hey, Cash. Mark, what do you make of that? It gets even weirder. It gets even weirder because I warned everybody on social media too. I'm a member of a bunch of groups. And yesterday I wrote, I'm expecting the sell-off to slow down around 12:45 Eastern today. This was yesterday. And possibly go up until 2:05 Eastern, where the next selling is estimated to occur. Darian, when did I write that? I wrote that at 12:43 yesterday is when it got posted. I wrote it earlier. And these guys know now, the administrators of these Facebook pages, they know when I post something, they look at it real quick, make sure it's not overtly promotional, and they shoot it out because they want the members to know. I've converted about 12 Facebook pages to my will. And Mary, I posted, and they're like, hey, guys, listen. And so 12:43, it's posted right here in the middle of this candle. And then yesterday, we start sending out photos of the trade. And we're like, hey, it's going up. It's going higher. We're still in it. And just in one trade, right? How crazy is it? In one trade at 12:45, because the program warned us to, we're not even talking about this. This was during my class yesterday. We took shorts in the live room. We took shorts from 10 o'clock till 12:45. But I want you to see, that's what was posted on 10, 15 Facebook groups, 12 in total, I think. And I said, 12:45, how far it had fallen. It had fallen from 125 down to 82. That's a big gap. That's got to be a big set of huevos to say, but it's going to go up until 205. And then the sell-off will resume. What does that presuppose? Right? When we really start looking at this, what it presupposes is that when we're looking at this chart, none of it has anything to do with the report, the unemployment, the housing, the GDP. They already know this information. It doesn't have anything to do with the VWAP or the deltas or all that stuff, the floor trader pivots and the volume and the all of the things people follow. The neural network, Darian, the neural net number. What does it mean? This program seems to have cracked a code. It said, look, listen, pay attention. Listen to me, knucklehead. This is a giant casino, and the house always wins. And if you want to win, you have to know what the house knows. You have to understand how the software in the slot machine is configured. Not everybody walks out of here with money in their pocket. It's almost always the opposite. So to have experienced this in real time, was it luck? I don't know. Let's see what happened at 205. Oh my God. How long was it supposed to go down from 205? Down until 310. So from the close of the 1245 candle until the open of the 205 candle is nearly $31 straight up. Más o menos. And then from the close of the 205 candle to the open of the 310 candle is $18. From the close of the 10 o'clock candle to the open of the 1245 candle is $27. This move here, we're going to talk about it, but if you went long there, it was -8. If you went long here and exited, that was $8.50. If you went short here and got out there, that was $8. If you went short at 340 and you got out at 405, you made 2 ticks. And if you were trading after 405, after all that nonsense, Bless your heart. What do you make of that? If you're watching from home on a video, remember these times and directions were published 2 days ago, long before this market opened on Wednesday. How many of you participated in that? How many of you made money yesterday using these times? Anybody? Jack was like, yes, all caps. Jack said, where's the cap key? Good for you, Jack. Okay. A few of you did. Now, I want to just mention this in passing. I know you did. Darian, you had to. We're going to get to tomorrow. We're going to get to today or tomorrow's action in a minute. I want to just mention in your handout section, in your GoToWebinar chat box, there's a book. And so, Darian, this book attempts to outline some of the patterns in time where the signal is likely to go in the opposite direction, right? And I just want to, without going too deep into it, it's sort of a slightly higher level analysis, but I want you to notice on page 27 of that book, there are things we notice about how time works. And we notice that if you arrive at a buying pressure time, if you arrive at a time that was supposed to go up, and that candle, the one to the left or the right of it also, if any one of these three are higher than the previous swing high, it tends to reverse and go back down. So I want to direct your attention over here. And Darian, do you see how 835 is the highest high of those three potential candidates? It's a pattern 5. And what do pattern 5s usually do? They do that. They reverse and go over. Well, if you're saying, Michael, I don't want to memorize a whole book. You don't have to memorize the whole book. Watch. If you go into the software, I just wanted to show this to you because I think it's cool. And you tell the program to bring the patterns over. Jack, do you see that pattern 5 right there? Darian, it would have warned you on the close of that candle. I know this was supposed to be a buy signal, but it's meeting all the requirements of an inversion. An inversion. Okay? So these patterns in time alert us to the points where these signals can go backwards. All right? So when I drew an X over 835, I wanted you to remember that this was here. And if you shorted 835 with a stop above the high and held it until 10 o'clock, it wasn't a loser. It was actually a winner. So the patterns are a level of this that I normally have time to get into, but today I have a big, sweaty, hairy 18-year-old who wants to eat Chinese food in a while. But I wanted to mention that in passing. Yesterday, there was a pattern 5 in between all these crazy signals that we had yesterday. Okay? Any questions about the times were known in advance? We waited for them to see if the move was going to occur, specifically in a direction timed to the second, with a direction and an expiry, short from 10 o'clock to 12:45, long from 12:45 to 2:05, etc. Okay. Any questions about yesterday and how we're using time? No. Okay. There was a note, if you're a customer, There was a note yesterday. I won't get into it. Mary, I was going to tell him about the pattern 8, but I'm going to not. We're going to let it go. Okay. If you're a customer, you saw what I posted in the Skype group yesterday. So, Darian, here's today. Listen to me. For 15 years, I tell people about this. I've gotten better at it. I've gotten pretty good at it, actually. But for 15 years, the presentation's always the same. Here are the times that we gave you 2 days ago for Wednesday and Thursday. Here's what happened 2 days later. Big report today. GDP was horrible. GDP was horrible. It was horrible. Okay. Did it affect what was happening at these times? Let's add them up the same way. Ready? Long from 7:15 until 7:50. Short from 7:50 until 8:40. 8:40, we have a stop out. Not even with a trend filter. Short from here to here. Long from here to here. Short hits the stop. 1:30, long, boom. Short, out, boom. Long, out, boom. Short, we get past the $500 mark. For me, that's break even. And so once we get to $500, I'm break even right here. $4, $27, $9, $12, $17.50, $10, $21, minus 11, minus 11. Yeah, Chris, we'll take a look at that. So Darian, we gave those times out. You saw them in advance. And everything I told you on the phone was true. And if you add up the signals, 4, 30, 40, 50, 70, 80, 100, minus 20, 80 times 50 is $4,000. Whoops. For dramatic effect. That will buy you one stock module with Advantage Point. That will buy you one stock module with Vantage Point. And today, we actually were able to take advantage of that. The 235 signal, it was more than I could take. And so that was a great entry there as well. Kosh in the BTTFT community page, the main company page. So usually people will ask me questions at this point. The first one is, if it's so good, why are you telling everyone about it? And the very fact that it's predictive, that the process works the way that it does in proving it, that you had the times and directions in advance, negates any question you can ask me that doesn't start with the phrase, how do I buy it? Don't worry about my motivations. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just a psychopathic, altruistic educator. Who cares? Who cares? Some of you have that voice right now and you're like, oh, I don't understand if this guy's not driving a Ferrari everywhere. If I had those signals, you should be driving a Lamborghini to the grocery store to pick up milk in the morning. Who cares? Why do you care? Truth be told, I love this. I love the puzzle of it. I love the outing and the exposure of these guys to the community. I love when you send me photos of how well you did today. I love it. Somebody sent me their results today. These are funded accounts for one customer. One customer, funded accounts. That's a $27,000 day of someone else's money. What do you care what I do with it or don't do with it? It's available and people are using it to make money, right? Jack, you said, or Darian, you said you used this on the YM. That was a 3-minute chart. Those times were available on a 3-minute chart with the same settings. Yeah, it looks like I drew the signals in by hand. It looks like I drew the signals in by hand. It's not just that either. If you traded oil today, boy, it sure looks like the oil market was rigged, doesn't it? Yeah, beautiful, Jack. You're crushing it, man. Hey, Jack, do me a favor. If you haven't already, can you head over here at some point today or tomorrow? I know it's kind of a hassle. Can you share your experiences with other people there if you haven't already? It would really help us out a lot. Sweet. Thank you. So oil futures, this will be the last thing we look at after the fact, rather. For today, Thursday, oil on a 3-minute chart. Let me see if I can blow this up. That's what she said. Right there. No, I keep doing it wrong. There. You see where it says 803? I'm sorry, and then 808. Oh, this is the 1-minute chart. Forgive me. 1-minute chart is here. I'm wondering why nothing matches. I was like, shoot, this webinar took a really weird turn. 928 was the first signal. Here's 928. So these are all the times that were published. And then you have 842 down a day after the forecasts are published, 842, 851, 903 down until when? 914 up until when? 928, there's the US Open, down until 941, up until 948, down until 949. So Darian, you have Renko addiction right now. You've been coping with and trying to find a way to trade oil. And I can get you using Renko bars again and convert them. But at some point, I need to take you out in the desert and wean you off the Renkos. You're going to have detox. You're going to shake a little bit. You're going to get sweaty. Your head's going to hurt. You're like, oh, well, if I don't have Renko bars, how am I going to know what oil is going to do? How will I know when it's consolidating or if there's a trend line break? It's okay. It's okay. It's going to be all right. Look at me. Look at me. It's not your fault. Darian, it's not your fault. Say it. It's not your fault. Don't talk to me about Renko bars when I'm showing you this. You're carrying Nostradamus around in your pocket. Talk to him about your crazy Renko bars. The way to convert, in all seriousness, we used to have a program for NT7 called Velocity. It was called Flux Velocity. If you were going to figure out what size time frame to put on the Renko bars, what you do is, first of all, you get your Renko bars. And Darian, you're looking at structure. So let's say you have a 10 Renko bar, one day's worth of signals. And what I'm doing is now I'm looking at a specific section of time. So 9:03 to 9:49, 9:03 to 9:49, 9:03 to 9:49. So this little chunk right here. There it is. So Darian, can you see how it almost matches the structure over here? What I'm trying to do is find a Renko bar where I'm seeing this and then kind of this, that, the pullback, and down. So with a 10 now, I'm going to just kind of walk it down, like go to an 8, and then take it back. 9:03 to 9:49. We still don't have that little double top thing going on there, so I'll walk it back to a 6. I want to see that structure, and there it is. So that's how I would do it. Your brain, the reticular formation of the human brain up until ChatGPT, who knows now, was always better at pattern recognition than a computer was. Now, this was before deep learning models came out and computers were studying the entire web. And now apparently we've run out of data. They've trained these AI systems with all known data. And I think the Chinese are handing out cell phones to Martians now. You like the TikTok? Here. And they're getting Martian. They're downloading all the Martian data, and none of the Martians know it, and they're probably going to train it on that too. But that's the easiest way I know to do that. So what I would be doing, Darian, is I'd be taking the 1-minute signals if you're down on that level, or matching the time to the structure of the Renko bar that you're comfortable with. Does that make sense? Okay. Now on the daily chart for the ES, I want to just go over this with you guys. We did have a long signal from the webinar last week that was supposed to start on the 24th, and that's where this big boom is coming from. Yeah. Darian, have you figured out which direction you want to go? The full Monty or the free mints at the hotel desk option? Do you want the do you want the free mints package or the I'm not going to say what I want to say, or the big boy force package? You're going to let me know by this weekend, which is cool. On the daily chart now, we have a long window from April 24th until May 14th. So sure, you can always add that to it. Take a look at gold. There's a couple things on gold that I want you to see. Who asked me about that? Chris. So Chris, on gold, how many of you know what happened this week in the sky? I mentioned it to you last week. Oh. That's what I want right there. We had a full moon. Now, if we exclude everything but the full and the new moon, I told everybody about this. Nobody listens. Nobody listens because it's so much easier to believe this stuff isn't true. Full moon on January 25th, full moon on February 26th, full moon on March 25th. Doji candle with a long bottom wick, April 23rd. Now, how high is gold going to go? Ready? The minimum it's going to go is that from low to high here, from low to high here, from low to high here. So these are the last 5 moves from low to high. We've beaten the first minimum target. The second target is right here at 2370, Chris. Then you got this chimichanga here and this chimichanga. So the 2 upside targets for gold before 12 days from now on May 7th, when the next new moon cycle comes in, is here and here. Now, does that mean 100% that's what's going to happen? No, that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a very good chance we're going to hit the median, which is 2370, which, by the way, is right around where all that churn is to the left. Okay, so Chris, so far so good? If we look at the warp chart, before I do that, let me show you this real quick. Because most people aren't paying attention to this either. This is Bitcoin on a daily chart with the same stuff. Darian, we looked at this yesterday, right? Oh, I gotta get the signals in the right direction. 4, there's no minus here. That's better. Chris, what do you make of that? What usually happens in Bitcoin on a full moon? Well, same thing. November 28th, December 27th, January 26th, February 27th, March 25th, and now April 23rd. How high will Bitcoin go? Measure from the low to the high of each of the moves historically, but by the time it got to the next red signal, from the low to the high, from the low to the high. And now we come over here and we just bring all that over and put these on the low of the existing candle. What usually happens is you get a minimum, a median, and a maximum. So in this instance, isn't this ridiculous that we're even talking about this? The minimum, where is it? There it is. The minimum is right here. The median is right here. And then the maximum, wow, is 84,000. But we're in that window, Chris, where magic stuff happens, same as gold, right? Does the NQ have beast respect for the moon phases? Yeah, it actually does, Bala. So when you hear on the news about how Bitcoin is this random synthetic monster and it's completely unpredictable, and how will we ever know what it will do next? Just go outside and look up. Remember, just look at the chart in its entirety here. Look at it. And now we can go back and go online and say, well, clearly everybody knows about this, right? Huh. No. What is causing that? The rate cut odds, and no. Persistent inflation and the run to 200. What? No mention of this. Huh. Okay. Fascinating. So if we look at the NQ, again, this is just another weird way to analyze this stuff. We can do the same thing with the full and the new moon. Let's get rid of the first and third phases. We'll double this now just to get our stop out around 1 ATR or more. And Bala, you tell me. I'm going to move it out just a little bit more. Let's go to 1,000. Sorry, we took a weird turn there. What do you think? Even the beast obeys the laws. Yeah. So if we look at it though with the data mining tool, if we look at the daily chart with the standard default settings, we got to load 10 years of data. There's a signal on the 19th, Bala. It went down instead. It went up instead of down. You know why? It's a pattern 4. So in your book, even on the larger time frames, if you activate your patterns, even when it's the wrong move, we're alerted to the fact that it's about to go in the opposite direction, which I think is kind of cool. But gold on a daily time frame using warp, Chris, I think that was your original question. Let's get rid of the patterns. We'll just look at it. Neutral. Gold had a selling signal, a legitimate selling signal on April 22nd. The next possible move up, Chris, is on May 1st, either April 30th or May 1st. The closing price line of the 22nd, there's a resistance level associated with every time signal. Chris, you see how we're dancing below this value here, 23.45, 46? That's a pretty bearish indication right now. And so that same thing happened over here. And Chris, do you notice how we kind of stayed under it for most of the time until we didn't right here? So if gold is going to start to creep up again, you have to have a daily bar that closes above 23.45 point something. Does that make sense, everyone? Yep. Yeah. Well, Bala, it's hovering. If you look at the open price line, it's closing up right near it. It's closing right at this line. And so these timelines become elastic. They let it creep up and then they smash it down. They let it creep up and then they smash it down. So on the daily, you have a lunar signal conflicting with a sell signal. Okay. If you want to look at a split within a split, Chris, you have a 2 or 3 day window right here from now until the close of the 26th, tomorrow. So today into tomorrow, we should see up moves. Does that make sense, dude? Dudek? Dudenator? Okay. The other guy on Tesla, fun fact, if you activate your patterns on the daily chart, we had a pattern 4 on April 18th for Tesla. So that's most likely the bottom for now. The next buy signal is on May 13th. If you're an options guy or girl, any questions about what happened on these charts and how we can take advantage of these signals and know when the times are coming? Because here's the cool part. I know the times already for tomorrow. In fact, we have the times for tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. And Darian, it scares the heck out of you to know you're this close. I can see it. I can taste it. All the times are there, ready to go. All right, not even counting the vibration stuff. So it's available if you want it. So did the experiment work at the end of it? Were we able to demonstrate 15 Facebook groups, tens of thousands of people, that there are some serious shenanigans going on in the market, that time seems to be very important to the second, to the minute? Yeah. There's no way we could do it this way if that weren't the case. And so it's really kind of down to this fundamental question. What is trading? Is it about understanding what happened in the past, whether that's 5 seconds or 5 bars ago? Or is it about estimating what will happen in the future? Because it really determines what you do. If you're focused on what's behind you, in motorcycle world, they call that target fixation. Mary, if I'm riding my motorcycle in the road and I see a big log in the middle of the road, whatever I look at, I drive towards. It's called target fixation. How many of you have heard that phrase before? If you're looking at a lagging indicator, or if you're looking at these levels or volume measurements or price action candle, all you need is price action. I read that about 30 times a day on these pages. All you need is price action. That's all you need. What's in the past? You're guessing then. To a large degree, I think, I feel. So if you're looking at something in the past, you're fixated on that. You're not watching for what's happening now or likely to happen in the future. And so I just want to posit that there's a world where someone is waking up tomorrow and their only purpose in life is to take your money. I'm not talking about the federal government. I'm talking about the investment institutions, which is kind of the same thing. But that's a conversation for another day. They want your money. They have a more powerful computer system than you. They have an internet cable the size of your leg directly plugged in at the exchange. Their orders get there fast. Their orders get there first. Their orders aren't even real. They spoof to make you feel like you know that they've placed an order, and they haven't even. Their algorithms are designed and trained to leverage your most vulnerable psychological weaknesses, your Achilles heels, electronically. And you think you have a shot. I've been doing this a long time. I've been showing people this every week for 15 years, 50 webinars a year times 15, 600 webinars. Only about 5% of people, having seen what I've shown you, actually ever move forward. But if you are moving forward, you get a Formula One racing car. Woo! No, that's not true. You become a part of a team. We are a team. We have been here for 15 years. Other people have come before you and left reviews. And these are real people. And they weren't doing well, and then they were. Some of you have written this review. If you haven't, please do. It helps a lot for people to know what your experiences are. There's also a community of users over here, right? There's 241 people in the Skype group that are sharing their charts, that are sharing their experiences with each other, that are telling each other when they're getting in and out and using the same system. We have a community of people for the first time. We have people who've taken hundreds of thousands of dollars from Apex Investing and their mentors now that you can train with, and they'll show you what their settings are, what charts they're using, when they get in, when they get out, when they hold a trade. There's a community of users here waiting to work with you. On our website, the program that we're talking about is a NinjaTrader indicator. The program is called TachEon Warp. When you go to sign up, please sign up. At the bottom of the page, there's a pop-up. There's a pop-up today. I have an advanced room for training Force and Warp customers. We now show Omnia in there as well. And I have a $200 daily goal using the NASDAQ, oil, E-mini S&P. And today, I think at one point in the ES, what were we up, Mary? $500, $600, $700. NASDAQ, we kept getting $100 break even, $100 break even, $100 break even, $100 like 5 or 6 times. It was disgusting. And so if you value and thrive from personal one-on-one interaction with screens and live markets, and this is where we're getting in, this is where we're getting out, this is a level 1 entry, this is a level 2 entry, the risk is going to be here. I do that now. I took that room over, it's me. So everything I'm showing you here, I'm going to show you over there, and we're going to watch live together. So if you want that in your cart, you can add that to your cart. If you don't want it, I don't care. It's okay. You won't hurt my feelings. I love you guys. Those of you that have bought before, I come up here and I talk into a microphone to people that may or may not be real humans. I've met some of you in a room. I thought that was cool. You are my community. I know your names, I know your stories, I know where you've come from, and I know how far you've gone. And I am for you. I believe in you. I am proud of you. Keep going. Don't stop. Don't listen to the voices in your head. Don't listen to the guy at work. Don't listen to your neighbor. Don't listen to your mom. You're crushing it. You're doing great. One more day, one more discovery, one more moment, one more trade. Keep going. Press in. We're here to support you. Darian, you get a 25% off coupon. If you go the other route that we talked about with the big boy, you get 3. Uno, dos, tres. 3 of those. If you get the slice of pizza, 25% off when you sign up. If you get the whole pie and a calzone, you get 3 months. All right, listen to me. I'm going to go. I'm going to not cry when my son sits next to me and he's almost as tall or taller. I'm going to watch him blow a candle out and think about how quickly time is going by. Time is a commodity that we don't get back. And the more I use this program, the more I work with you, the more I realize and remember how precious each moment is. There was a line from a wonderful program on Hulu. It's a remake of a popular show back in the day called Shogun. And one of the lines, Chris, was, "A flower is a flower because it falls. A flower is a flower because it falls." Everything has an expiration. These buy and sell signals have expirations, and this thing has an expiration. So does yours. Make the most of it. Trade ferociously, fearlessly, emotionlessly. This is your year. The volatility is here. These moves are here for a while. They're going to be here for 6 to 8 more months, in my opinion. Lean in, and ask for help when you need it. May the wind be at your back. May the sun shine on your beautiful, handsome faces. May the valley rise up to meet you, and may the mountains lay low before you. I am for you. I believe in you. I am for the wishes and dreams that you have for yourself and the motives driving you to be a better trader. I believe in you, and I'm so grateful that you are here tonight. Welcome on board to our new customers. You guys are the best. If you have any questions, please reach out. You may get a phone number or a phone call rather from a guy named David. He is cool. I have broken bread with him. We have shaken hands, shookaded the hands. He's been with us for a long time. He's going to help onboard some of you and get you started. If you have any questions, reach out. Michael, Michael, at backtothefuturetrading.com. And we'll see you guys when we see you next. Have a great weekend. Be careful trading tomorrow. Don't forget, the market you trade is not random. You can look forward into time, see these moments, and be prepared. Analyze your risk and go for it. That's my wish for you tomorrow and the rest of these trading days ahead of us. Take care. Bye-bye, guys.